Although its origins derive from France, Britain, and Greece, burlesque became a wildly popular American art form that thrived in the early to middle part of the 20th century. When exactly it died, if ever, is a hotly contested point among connoisseurs. Burlesque has been a stigmatized, much maligned piece of theatrical history that has largely and deliberately been left out of the history books. Aristophanes is widely credited as being the first burlesque writer, scribbling out parodies in 5 BC. However, this is clearly not burlesque as we think of it today, with strippers, pasties, drum rolls, and baggy pant comedians with putty noses. A burlesque of the 1800s was a play that made fun of popular legitimate plays of the time. There were no chorus lines, comedians, or exotic dancers. In 1931, author Bernard Sobel wrote that a particularly poor 1811 performance of Hamlet originated what was to be called legitimate burlesque. From 1840 on, the term burlesque was applied to a wide range of comic plays that entertained the lower and middle classes in Great Britain. In America, burlesque evolved from the European tradition into grand productions performed by scantily clad women. Burlesque was still poking fun at the upper classes, at sex, and at what people were willing to do in the pursuit of obtaining it. It appealed to the masses of working-class people who packed theaters every week to see troupes like the British Blondes, a bevy of beauties dressed in tights that shocked New Yorkers with the sight of their exposed limbs. In 1969, former minstrel show performer M.B. Levitt took Lydia's Blondes and fused their show with the style of the minstrel shows popular at the time, consisting of gags, song, and dance performed mainly by white performers in blackface. This new show followed a 3-act formula that was to become the signature burlesque show we know today. An opening with a lavish song and dance number, a second act of variety performers, a third-act skit or send-up of a popular play, and finally a grand finale by the entire company. Levitt's Rent-Santley Burlesque Company was composed of women only, quite a deviation from the predominantly male minstrel casts. By the 1920s, the striptease was introduced to offer audiences something that vaudeville, radio, and film did not. The striptease let burlesque escape the same fate as vaudeville. During the Great Depression, a man could pay a single dime and fall into a big, raucous, sexy show and forget he had no work and was unlikely to find any. Former stripper Dixie Evans, known as the Marilyn Monroe of burlesque, said that people in that era were so depressed and there was no hope. The masses were just out of work and out of money, but for those few small pennies it was worth it to see one of these great shows. They were mostly for the American public that had nothing. The shows grew increasingly daring until 1937, when, fueled by public outrage, New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia banned burlesque in his city. Burlesque's response was to slip across the river to New Jersey. Eventually, comedians and musicians were expunged from shows as the strippers took over. By the 1960s, however, hardcore porn was widely available, and burlesque was done. The best of the comedians went into radio, film, and television. But what happened to the strippers and the thousands of performers who had worked in burlesque their entire lives? There's a burlesque theater where the gang loves to go to see Queenie the Cutie of the Burlesque Show. Strip Polka by Johnny Mercer.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.